we've been a little hard on Desmond Ridder in the past, and I think it was warranted. A lot of games he struggled. A lot of games the Falcons' offense hasn't been able to move the ball, if not for the run game, if Bijan, Algier, or Cordero Patterson, for that matter, are the ones moving. And finally now, we get a breakout Desmond Ridder game. The first one, really, of his NFL career. He's 28 for 37 for 329 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions. And then he also has a rushing touchdown, 4 carries. So beyond that, he had the game-winning drive. We thought CJ Stroud had it, but Ridder gets the ball back with, a minute 30, a minute 20 or so, goes down the field and puts Younghoe Koo, our Ridgewood friend, in position to kick and make that game-winning field goal. I was really impressed with Ridder. He made a couple big-time throws. Finally, you saw Kyle Pitts and Drake London get involved. Drake London with a really good catch late in the game.
Did he score?
London?
Yeah.
No. Who scored the touchdown? Well, Bijan had a pretty awesome touchdown.
That was Zach's anytime TD today, Drake London.
Is that the end of the streak?
No, the streak ended last week when Mike Evans got hurt.
Oh. Well, I don't know if I count injury.
Yeah, doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Well, it doesn't matter now. It's over.
Yeah, it's still over now.
Ziggy, as you watched Desmond Ridder today, was this an encouraging sign for you, saying, okay, maybe going forward this year, like he can be good enough to get this team to the playoffs?
It's tough for me to get super excited about Desmond Ridder.
And
right?
We've seen Falcons fans like, F you.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've seen a lot of bad games out of him, but I will say this is the first game he's had in the NFL where I really felt like he looked good. Right? Was he perfect? No. Are you excited about the offense putting up only 21 points of all the weapons around him? No. But Desmond Ridder threw for a lot of yards. He took care of the ball. He didn't take those terrible sacks that he's been taking in the past few games that have just killed their offensive drives. Like, Desmond Ridder played well enough to win, and at no point before this in the season was that really true. I mean, they beat the Packers, but that was because Bijan put up like 125 rushing yards. And he was sort of the engine that game. Yeah, this was the game where Desmond Ridder said, look, guys, I got this. I'm going to be able to get us the win.
Get on my back and let me take you there.
Yeah, and whether it was like Jonnu Smith or Drake London or Kyle Pitts, like, he was able to get the people you need involved. And he won him the game. So great job. But I'm not going to be super optimistic next week going in and facing the Commanders.
I mean, Desmond Ridder at home just does not lose.
Was he 5-0 in the NFL now?
5-0 in the NFL. What about Cincinnati? Got to be something ridiculous too there, right?
Lost in Cincinnati.
No, never lost in Cincinnati.
He's never lost at home.
I mean, that's incredible stuff. But yeah, I was impressed. I feel like he played a bit of in this game with a bit of a chip on his shoulder because there's been so much talk about CJ Stroud, and for good reason. I'm sure like we're not the only sports media guys out here talking about CJ Stroud.
We're probably one of the only shows talking about Desmond Ridder even after today.
Right,
Everyone's talking about Stroud going down the field scoring. Like, most people aren't going to talk about Ridder if you're not in Atlanta.
Murdered Jacksonville. Murdered Pittsburgh. Played well today. No one's talking about Ridder. He's probably like, you know what? Like, I'm a young quarterback too. Let me show what I got down by a few points here. Let me take him down the field and win this game. Yeah. And that's what he did.
And this was a game where you said it, Ziggy. The Atlanta rushing attack wasn't going to win it. They had 36 carries for 96 yards, to an average of 2.7.
Yeah, Ridder won this game.
You don't see that you don't see Atlanta winning games when they don't have like 200 yards rushing or Bijan's going crazy. Like even last year, they needed to run well to win the game, and this was the first time in a while now that a Falcon fan can sit back and go, "Wow, like we won this game throwing the football." I remember with the Vikings with Adrian Peterson, and it's maybe not a great comparison, but when we had Christian Ponder, it was like, we throw for 115 yards. And if we had a 300-yard game and Ponder won it, we were going like, oh my gosh, when we can do that, we're unbeatable.
I want to go back here and pat myself on the back as well during our preview show for saying that this is going to be a close game. Drive late by Atlanta, down by a few points, and Younghoe Koo from Bergen County kicks a game-winning field goal.
That's what I was applauding you for earlier. So, you nailed this one. Basically, down to the T.
Yeah, I mean, I see the future, I guess.
But did you expect Desmond Ridder to go for 329 touchdown?
No, I was impressed by that.
Yeah,
he played a very good game.
Congratulations to the Falcons fans. We'll see if you can go do that against the Commanders, who just got murdered by the Bears on Thursday night.
Look, right now too, I know the season's very early, but beating Houston seems like a somewhat decent win.
No, it is a good win, and beating the Commanders next weekend would be another. There's so many teams that are sort of on the cusp of being considered good or not. We still don't really know. Like, what is it? What is anyone in the NFC South really, aside from Carolina being bad? Like, who's the best team there? Maybe it's Tampa Bay,
The Bucs.
Like maybe though, it wouldn't surprise me if Tampa dropped a few, and like so. This is a great opportunity against the Commanders team, who I think is similar. Who are the Commanders? We don't really know. You go beat them next week, and they're 4-2, right?
Yes. Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
And that's a great start.
Next week is very important because when you're a young quarterback and you win a game like this, where you take your team down the final drive, final 2 minutes, and win the game, it's important. Like, the following week is a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be too hungover, just continue doing what you're supposed to do. Like last year, remember when Pickett took us down against the Raiders, won that game. And then the following week, took us down, won it against Baltimore. So it's important to just stay on track. Like keep doing what you're supposed to do.
A very winnable game too. It's not like they're playing the Eagles or something like that.
Winnable game. Like, go get it done.
Just to wrap this up here, the Falcons had 26 first downs to 17 for the Texans, 447 yards to 313. Time of possession, 36 minutes to 24. They really dominated the game statistically. So at the end of the day, the better team did win.
Here's going to be the most important thing to watch going into next week. It's not Ridder's progression, right? Ridder, I think he played well this game. I think he can do it again. He's got that chip on his shoulder. The question is going to be the offensive line, right? One of the most surprising stories to me in the NFL this year was that the Falcons' offensive line went from elite last year to, like, in pass protection this year, they looked like garbage up until this game. 0 sacks, 4 offsides penalties gotten from the defense. Like, the offensive line was able to keep their cool and play pretty well, not give up any sacks. If you give Ridder protection, I think we saw it today, he'll play well enough. The question is just going to be whether the offensive line is going to be able to stay in sync and keep it together, not be a dumpster fire, which they weren't for the fourth quarter, which is what mattered.